Hello everyone, Nolan West here. There is a debate going on around keeping kids out of school when it starts again this fall. However, despite all the doom and gloom you've heard about COVID on the news, we are doing pretty darn well here in Minnesota. And the present situation here does not merit keeping kids out of school at all, especially considering the very real cost of keeping kids home. So let's look at the numbers of COVID and see how we're doing, because we're doing pretty well. And total cases continue to climb, but at a slowing rate. When you consider that we've increased our testing dramatically, it looks even better. I mean, you'd expect to see a sharp increase in positive cases with increased testing, but instead we're looking at a consistent, steady decline. And we also know that COVID-19 is far more lethal the older you are, and the vast majority of deaths have occurred among the elderly in long-term care facilities. Now let's look at deaths across all age groups because we want to make sure it'll be safe for kids. And when you look at people under 30 with over 12,000 confirmed cases, there are a total of 2 deaths. We're in a good spot for kids. And now we're looking at hospitalizations. Keeping our hospitals from being overwhelmed was the main reason we went into a lockdown in the first place. And here the news is even better. After peaking at around 600 hospitalizations May 28th, we have seen a steady decline all through the months of June and July. Our hospitals are far from being overwhelmed, and we have plenty of ICU bed capacity as well. If our hospitals were on the brink of doom, maybe it would make sense to keep kids out of school. However, we know that COVID-19 is primarily a danger for the elderly, not children. There is no reason kids being back in school would create any kind of surge in hospitalizations. And lastly, we need to look at COVID-related deaths. And here we find the best news of all. Daily deaths peaked in early June and since have dramatically declined. There have only been 325 deaths across our entire state outside of long-term care facilities. That's not even 1/1000% of our population. Kids need to be back in school. There are real costs to kids staying home. COVID shouldn't be the only thing we consider. That's bad decision making. We have to consider children's mental health as well as their parents' ability to work. With the minimal chance of socialization and little supervision, the risks of our kids suffering due to things other than COVID is very high. In recent years, the level of anxiety in our children across the country has risen dramatically. And this is due to numerous factors, but keeping them out of school will only put them at greater risk. And there's also the issue of childcare. Many parents don't have the ability to watch their kids. They have to work to put food on the table, and by keeping kids out of school, we put those parents in an impossible situation. They have to work to provide for their children, but many won't be able to work if their kids aren't in school. And those are real costs that we can't ignore. And we can't just assume COVID is the only thing to consider with children going back to school. And to preserve kids' mental health and their parents' ability to work, we need kids back in school. There are reasons to take precautions, but the risks far outweigh the rewards for keeping them out of school. So that's my say on the piece, and if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll see you next time.